Oh guys, I went vegan. How do you be friends with non-vegans?
Give the girl an Oscar.
Hi, I'm NISHA.
I'm Nicole. I'm Dani.
And I'm Hannah. And this is
The Vegan View.
Cheers!
Hey guys, welcome back to The Vegan View. So today we're going to be talking about what it's like to be a vegan amongst all of your non-vegan friends. Like sometimes they can be really supportive and then other times it can feel a little bit strange. They don't know how to relate to you. Maybe sometimes you don't know how to relate to them and it can be really awkward. So we thought we would talk about that today and hopefully it will be helpful for you guys.
So I think a really good podcast, I have to interject, and is probably one of the reasons I've had such a good, easy time like integrating my vegan life with my other friendships, is Colleen Goudreau's podcast, Food for Thought. She has a episode called Being the Vegan in the Room, and it's just wonderful, and it's very much about having to be a good representative of veganism without talking at people, and really bringing activism in a light that's more like friendly and like casual, comes up organically in conversation. So I think that's really good if you want to go download that.
Yeah. Do you guys think when you go vegan that it does change your relationship with your friends? Do you feel like all of a sudden you guys used to have so much in common and all of a sudden there's this big, I don't know, this difference between you? Did you guys feel that at all? Because I think I felt that a little bit when I first went vegan.
I definitely felt that, and I think I still feel it sometimes now, but I also, there are times in my friendships where I'm like, oh, like, it doesn't matter that I'm vegan, and we're still the same friends that we were before, like, that doesn't change anything. But I do think there are moments, like when there's food involved, or, you know, if you're going to a wedding where there's a strict menu or things like that, that it comes up and it does make you feel a little isolated. So yeah.
I felt like when I first started learning about it, I thought it was so interesting, and kind of in the same way, like if I had watched any documentary about anything, I would have wanted to be like, oh my gosh, did you know about this? This is so interesting. But because it's like kind of a reflection of their daily personal habits, it's people don't want to talk about it in the same way. It's not like politics or, you know, something like that. So there's like an immediate sort of awkwardness sometimes.
Yeah. So when I first went vegan, I felt like all my closest friends were actually really excited for me, and like a couple of them were even like, I want to try it too. Like, let's all do it. Like it was like a diet or something. And I did have like one friend who stuck with it for a long time with me, but then I feel like when it became like obvious that it wasn't just a diet for me, and like other people like obviously didn't want to be vegan, I feel like then we kind of had like a little bit of like an unspoken like weirdness. I feel like they feel like because I feel like this way that I feel like negatively about them or something. I don't know, and like that I'm judging them, and then I feel like a lot of people experience that where like the person that you're with is like not ordering vegan, and it's like the, oh, I'm sorry, I'm ordering this type of thing. I mean, I know I'm the weird one being vegan, so I don't want to, I'm not trying to like shame you just with my presence.
I love how you're bringing up guilt and shame, because I think that is a huge roadblock in communication and vulnerability. Like, I think shame is one of the most fearful emotions we can ever experience. Like, shame, I think, is defined as someone not accepting who you are, and you can't help, like, once you've gone vegan, like, that's something you've chosen as such a core connected thing to your being. But from the other side, like someone who's eating meat, like that's how they grew up, that's a part of their culture, and I know it's like it can feel like your very presence is shaming someone else, and same to them, them to you. And we can like love our friends for who they are, but we can like not agree with certain things that they do. It's like that whole like hate the sinner, not the sin kind of thing. You can like love who someone is. I like love my friends. They're amazing, smart, talented people. But yeah, I don't agree that they eat meat, but like I'm not going to shame them and say they're a bad person. It's just we're different. And I think sometimes we get lost in like our partners and our friends and our families, and we think we have to be this like homogenous one person, because we do have so many things in common with our friends and family and partners that makes us love them and like embrace them. But it is okay to have separate interests and separate things you want to stand for, and it's okay to do that without like infringing upon each other. You know, I feel like for me it's made me more able to be vulnerable around my friends and be like, this is something I'm passionate about, and I love you and accept you even though you're not.
do you guys feel comfortable like talking about veganism a lot with your non-vegan friends, or do you feel like, I know, I feel like it's, I don't know, do you guys?
I try to avoid it.
I will try to like say stuff when I feel it's appropriate. Like, for example, my friends had no idea about animal testing on beauty products, and so that was something that I could like educate them on in a way that didn't make them feel like super guilty about their choices, but just kind of like inform them of, because they really had no idea. They're like, oh, what, they put lipstick on bunnies? And I'm like, oh, no. It is much more graphic than that. And I think like things like that are ways that I can kind of like tell them why I feel the way I do about certain things, and the way why I live my life the way I do, without being like, you know, mother cows are separated from their baby cows. Like, you know, even though these are things I feel and I wish I could like tell people, it's not going to be received well. And if I could go back in time, especially, I never really did this with my friends, but especially with my family members, I wish that I would not have been so aggressive with like sharing this information and my beliefs, because I just think it pushed people farther away from it. I feel like the best thing you can do, and I totally channeled NISHA in a recent incident because it was very unlike Hannah, but I was like, what would NISHA say in this situation? I think the best thing,
honored.
Yeah. I mean, I learned from all of you guys. I love you guys. But I feel like the best thing you can do is connect with them. Find something to connect with them on. So I had an instance where this guy was like, why are you vegan? And I told him, I was like, for the earth, the animals, and myself. Because I knew he was kind of like trolling me. Yeah. And he's like, I love animals too. I like them with sauce. And I was like, And I was like, okay, what would NISHA say in this situation? And I was like, I totally get that. I used to love meat as well. I was a huge meat eater. I used to love In-N-Out, Korean barbecue. I love the taste of meat. And he was like, what? You used to eat In-N-Out? And I was like, yeah, dude. Like, for 20-something years of my life, I ate meat, and I loved it. And I think that that kind of, like, connected us in a way, because he just saw vegan, and I think he just put me in this box where he thought I would never be understanding of his love of taste of meat or things like that. And I think it opened up his mind in that moment, because we kind of connected over that. And then I started talking to him about the Beyond Burger and how, you know, because he was in fitness, I was like, well, it's got, you know, more protein than a regular burger, less fat, and things like that. And he was way more open to receiving that information, I think, after I had, like, not judged him for his love of the taste of animals.
That's a really good point.
He totally like said that to like put a guard up too, and took it down.
Yeah, and but I totally was like, NISHA would say this.
I know, I was like, I literally thought this.
Yeah,
so good. I love that.
But I learned from it, and I tried it, and I put it into action, and it worked. Because what I would normally say in that situation would be something sassy, or I'd be like, okay, like, F you, bye. Or like, you're disgusting. Or like, oh, I love dead flesh. Like, I would normally say something super aggressive, but I didn't, and the reaction was so much better.
That being said, though, kind of the exact opposite of that is something I would recommend too. I think it just depends on the situation. I'm a people pleaser, and I really don't want to make other people uncomfortable. So, and I'm not confrontational usually. So sometimes if someone's asking me something and I can tell there's a little bit of like passive aggressiveness like that, I think that yes, absolutely. I totally agree with how you handled it. But in other situations, there have been times where I have had to stand my ground and be assertive and stand really firm in my belief. And I think it's really important to be connected to your intention of why you went vegan, and just have, like, you know, a couple of good reasons that really resonate with you, that you're passionate about, that you can really like be confident in responding to these people, because sometimes people don't want to connect, like they are sort of nitpicking at you for whatever reason, and
there are people who are mean. Like there are people who I became
so mean to vegans,
who I was friends with, who were just being mean.
Yeah.
And that is planting seeds in concrete that it is a waste of your time, and you don't need to laugh it off. You don't need to just take their comments. You can sit in silence. Like, there is no right in someone bullying you, and you can stand up for yourself 100%. That is a completely different situation.
In some ways, I feel like it's made me a more confident person, like not even talking about being vegan, but just like feeling so passionately about it, and feeling like I can stand, like I said, stand firm in what I believe in. It's made me like every time that happens, it's almost like a bicep curl for my confidence. Like I get stronger and stronger and stronger.
Mike the Vegan talks about how people in this video, I think it's like how to stay vegan or something like that. He says one of the big proponents of that is gumption, is like being able to say no, and being able to know because you put in the time and effort that your decisions are the right decisions. And I think that's like so key in having that bicep curl for your confidence. You know, you've done the research, you are like steadfast and proud of yourself.
Yeah.
And your friends are going to be too, if they're real friends.
I feel like what we're all looking for from friendships is like being able to connect with people and have that, you
love
know,
and acceptance.
Yeah,
Like,
so when veganism is like such a big part of your life, it is kind of hard when you don't have that connection with your friends. I feel like that is why we all connected so easily together, because it's like such a big part of our life that we all agreed on. So I feel like you really do have to focus on what you do love about that person and spread the compassion that you have to the animals to every single human being, and you know, look for things that you like in that person, and you can still have like really great relationships.
Yeah.
And I think we put so much pressure on ourselves to be these advocates and to like change people in one conversation, and that's just like not how learning and communication works. Like no one learns like that. You just need to be able to plant just enough of a seed to get them to understand you. Maybe they'll go vegan, maybe they'll never, but at least they're gonna have a good interaction with a good human being that might be their friend.
And have a positive association with veganism because you were a positive interaction or a positive friend to them.
So what are things you guys do to like stay friends with your non-vegan friends, but also like if you go out to eat, or if you have parties, or if you go to their weddings, what do you do? I know from my mom and dad are vegan, and none of their friends are vegan, and they live in the middle of Texas, so it's not really like a place where there's a vegan option everywhere you go. And they always eat before and bring their own. Like that's just a rule of our family. Like even here in California where there's options everywhere, I will bring something. Like I could have eaten a 4-course dinner and I'll just be like, I'm gonna still bring a pizza. Like eating is such a social thing, and you don't want to be left out of the eating and just be sitting on the couch alone. Like I used to do that and it was crazy.
It makes other people uncomfortable. Like if you ate before and then you're just there for a drink and you're not eating like some of the appetizer, like it makes people really uncomfortable.
So if you bring something to a restaurant, my mom brings, she'll like call the restaurant and be like, do you already butter your toast? They're like, no, we have dry toast. And then she'll bring like jam, or she'll bring those little packets of almond butter. And then everyone's like, wow, this is so healthy. Like she looks awesome. And then she's participating in the activity. She's also like eating vegan and she feels good.
Yeah. I think with weddings, no matter what, eat before is a good idea, because even if they do have a vegan option at the wedding, it's not going to be a lot, because most places
portions.
like wedding venues and things, they don't know how to cook vegan for like people who eat normal size portion food. Like
that's so true.
It's like usually going to be grilled veggies with a tomato sauce, and like who can sustain off of that, especially at a wedding? You're dancing, you're drinking, maybe like you want to have something substantial. So I would say always eat something before, and then you can always like pick at a salad or pick at the vegan option that they have there. But better to be safe than sorry. And like I just was in a wedding, and I wish I would have planned better. I just kind of assumed I would figure it out once I got there, but I wish I would have like brought sandwich fixings for myself, because there were times where people ordered for the group and it was somebody ordering that didn't know there was a vegan in the group, and so they wouldn't order something vegan, and like then I was really worried about when am I going to eat next, because I have to like be present for this wedding and like in the moment, and I don't want to be worried about that kind of thing. So I would just say like always plan ahead, always have a protein bar in your purse, like
shelf stable stuff, like, or a piece of fruit that can be kept out of the fridge. So
a can of chickpeas.
A can of chickpeas, maybe not, because you have to like open that,
it.
and you're like,
you can put it in your mason jar.
You're just like,
and they're like, weird vegan.
They're like, no, don't invite her next time. But yeah, I have this. There's this squeezable like oatmeal quinoa. Like I don't enjoy it, but when I'm on set, I buy it.
It'll work,
because it has tons of calories and it'll sustain you. Or I'll make myself sandwiches, or like protein bars. There's cereal bars, like anything shelf stable that's like substantial, has a little bit of fat, good amount of calories, like be fine.
Yeah, and I think if you plan ahead like that too, it makes your non-vegan friends feel like, oh, okay, she's good, she's got it figured out, she plans ahead. Like they'll stress less about it as well, which will make it better for everybody because you don't want them to stress, and they don't
want to be the friend that everyone's like, is she okay?
Did she eat?
Yeah, I think just like on a regular everyday basis, like if you're going out with a group and stuff, I always try to recommend somewhere that has a pretty good vegan option. Like, we're so lucky that like so many more and more places that are getting like the Impossible Burger and the Beyond Burger, like so many like big chain restaurants. So I always like try to just recommend something like that seems like really normal to other people, and they wouldn't even think like that's a vegan place, and then I can order something like that, and I think that makes being vegan seem like way more attractive too, because like, whoa, like it was so easy for her to order vegan. It looks just the same as mine, you know.
Yeah, you want to like continually nurture your relationships pre-vegan as you do after going vegan.
Yeah,
you don't want to like stop that just because you're vegan. You want to be like, still the same person, still nice.
Yeah.
So go everywhere you like.
I know. Yeah. So I always like try to be like, do you want to go here or here? But it's usually like two places that have like a pretty good like veggie burger or something.
Like,
you know?
I'm so flexible.
Yeah,
that's a good tip. Like, just take charge. Like, if like, you know, be like, oh, I know a restaurant that's really great, and then most people are like pretty cool with it. Except I'm like, I love not like all vegan restaurants, so I've had a few times where I've recommended only that or forced people to go to that.
Same.
And they usually like it, but then I'm also like, you know what, it is better to go to a place that like has things for both,
so they can see like a vegan living in a normal situation. So they can be like, maybe I can go
she
vegan.
doesn't have to go to only vegan restaurants.
Exactly.
Yeah. We were just in Denver, and everyone was like, oh, we don't care where we'll go anywhere. And me, of course, in a new city, I'm like, I need to try all the best vegan restaurants. So I took our friends, our non-vegan friends, to 2 vegan restaurants, and they liked it, and like I think they enjoyed the food, but I also think there's always going to be some kind of like mental like thing about about all vegan restaurants. And then the last restaurant we went to was a brunch spot that had vegan stuff and non-vegan stuff, and I feel like everyone kind of felt more comfortable there. So I wish that I would have picked more spots like that, but they did have the Beyond Meat on the menu, and some of the people that were not vegan ordered the Beyond Meat because we did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I think it does kind of like
too,
maybe they will try the vegan option if you go a place that has both, but if they're feeling like they're forced to go to an all vegan restaurant, like just learn from my mistakes.
Do you guys feel
but
like
I don't regret it because the vegan places we went to were so good.
I mean, you're traveling, so I feel like you have to like take advantage.
Yeah,
exactly.
In Denver, they have
I only had a couple days, so I was like, come on.
Come on. Eat with me.
Do you guys feel like your friends order or like try to eat vegan in front of you?
They did it in the beginning, but now it's more like...
yes, sometimes no. I think it depends on the person. Like, I have some friends that are like, I'm going to eat whatever I want, I don't care. And then I have other friends that I think are a little more aware of it, like, oh, I'll try that too. Like,
I always think it's interesting when, like, some friends will eat vegan with me sometimes, and then sometimes they'll be like,
I was about to say, I feel like if they're having a bad day, they ain't eating vegan with me. Like, but if they're having a good day and they're like happy, their day went well, they're like, let's get cauliflower wings. And I'm like, yes. But otherwise, if it's like a bad day, they're just kind of, it's not a good day, they're like, they're not eating vegan.
Do you guys like make a big deal about it when they order vegan?
I try not to talk about what
no,
they
I'm
eat
like,
at all.
it's fine. I'm fine. Like, I'm a cool girl.
I don't make a big deal about it, but like, to offer another perspective of it, I feel like I should, because I think that people like being celebrated, and I've noticed a lot of people in my life will message me on Instagram or text me and be like, oh, I got tempeh, how do I cook it? Or like, oh, I'm trying to eat meat-free this month, do you have any recipes? And I feel like if I were in their shoes and I were going out on a limb and messaging someone I don't talk to all the time, I'd want them to be like, oh my gosh, yes. And especially if they know that it's something that you're super passionate about. Like, I feel like there's a reason they thought of me to reach out to. So I think, like, we like to feel like we're doing something good. So I kind of am like, I should, when my friends do eat vegan, I should celebrate it a lot more than I do.
I know.
I do a lot.
I forget to do that
and
too.
I always try to, like, just slip in a fact. Like, just a really innocuous one. And I'll just be like, yeah, and it didn't come from an animal. Or I'll be like, yeah, and it's cruelty-free. Like, you know, just, like, in very, like, happy, quiet, like, just let it sit there.
I kind of do that with, like, recently a coworker she had a really pretty lipstick on, and I was like, oh, what's that lipstick? And she's like, it's NARS. And I know that she's like an on-again, off-again vegetarian. And I was like, oh my gosh, is it one of those pencils? She's like, yeah, I love those. I was like, yeah, I used to love those too. I was like, you know what is actually so much cheaper is the Sonia Kashuk one, and those are like the same type of formula. It's like a matte pencil, such pretty colors, and they're cruelty-free. And like I just like kind of threw that in there, and she was like, oh yeah, NARS isn't cruelty-free anymore, I forgot. And I was like, girl, you look great, like don't worry about it. But I know that I planted that seed. Yeah. It was like a quick conversation that I feel like landed, and I was just like,
and that's how you do it.
And people will always say, oh, you're trying to convert your friends. I'm not. I'm literally just trying to like have them see me. Like if they want to go vegan, I would love that. Yeah. But like it's just a mutual like seeing. Like I'm like, I know I loved meat, like I get you. And then I expect them when I say things like, oh, it's cruelty free too, to like get me in return. And I find that works amazingly.
Yeah. I don't know, if you guys aren't vegan and if you were out with a vegan friend and you ordered vegan, and would you want us to be like, oh my gosh, good job, you made a vegan choice? Or do you just want to be like, oh,
yay! I'm like, why don't you do that to me?
I didn't even notice that you ordered vegan, because it's so normal.
One of my best friends was vegetarian, is still vegetarian, and I was not. And whenever I used to order like a vegetarian option, she would be like, oh my god, you get the veg option like me, and I would be like, yeah, we're sisters. And I never thought of it like as anything. Like I never thought she was trying to convert me. I was just like, yeah, twins, like, you know.
I don't know why, like I am always,
I think it's because we're so used to being like,
don't look at what they're ordering.
Minimize.
And just like not make it a big deal. You want it to be normal, and then so you're just like, oh yeah, that's cool, normal.
I also feel like that's a female thing.
I think that you gotta think about it from the other
said
side.
This amazing thing. She's like, acceptance isn't saying something's okay. Acceptance is seeing it, but you can disagree on the inside or something like that. And it was so good. And I was just like, that is so true. Like you can accept something, but not
without
agree
condoning
with
it. Yeah.
I'm gonna say that next time someone's like, sorry, I ordered a steak. I'm just gonna be like, I accept it, but I don't agree with it.
Like when Nicole was like, guys, I just like really love oatmeal, and I was like, Nicole, I accept you, but I don't love oatmeal.
Or when you said I don't like peanut butter, and I was like,
I
don't agree, but
I don't agree, but I
don't know if I
love
accept it
you.
either. It's peanut butter. Come
on. Actually, let's talk about it.
I've been meaning to bring this up.
This is a rift in our relationship.
Too long.
Jeez, it's not an issue.
So we'd love to hear your guys' experience and your tips on this subject. Leave them in the comments below, start the conversation, and join our Facebook group if you haven't already. It's a great place to meet like-minded people, and a lot of people in there are just like venting and talking about cool new vegan things they found, and it's a really great place. So check that out. Check out our individual channels and our Instagram @TheVeganView, and we'll see you next week. Bye!